Gravy brought a bunch of boxes in that I got delivered today, and I'm telling you, this feels like Christmas with all these big boxes. They're not the most exciting maybe to you, but I am hot diggity excited. This one right here, the smaller, lighter one, is something that has been back ordered for a couple months now, so I'm excited to dive into that. I think it's a pretty small package, but I'm excited about it. And then this really big box back here, I'm not gonna even open up for you guys. I'm gonna probably just leave it in the box because I know what it is. It's my really, really large stretcher bars for the painting that I'm doing to go over our fireplace. So I won't need those for a while because I've custom ordered the cross brackets. I think that's what that's called. Yeah, cross brackets for it. And it's gonna be a while. So I'm gonna just go put those in the other closet. And then these other two big boxes, I'm really excited about. I feel like it's gonna put y'all in a coma. I know it'll put Grady in a coma when he watches this because it just will. I moved y'all around because I thought the lighting wasn't very good. I have been on the hunt for some really good, cheap, large paper. Not jumbo, but big enough, you know, that you can get into things, get into it with your arm. Sometimes I want to be able to work on a bunch of things at the same time if I'm out someplace and I need things to dry. So it's not like I could just have like 7 large sketchbooks. So this is 3 different types of paper. Some are watercolor, some are just regular paper. I just thought I'm gonna buy a bunch of them, and I bought them in bulk, not the biggest bulk, but bulk, because I knew I'd use it. Even if I didn't love the paper, I knew I'd use it for all kinds of things. I got 2 of these packages in yesterday, and I knew I wasn't gonna have a chance to film. I kept walking in here and like touching the box and thinking, oh, I really wanna open this and look at the paper. Not look at it, I wanted to feel it. I'm very much I need to feel, because it's gonna tell me a lot, but I wanted to wait to open it for you guys because it is interesting to me how excited a person can get over just cheap paper. I don't know what it is. It just, I've got like that explorer mentality in me that I get excited over new things, trying new things. It doesn't matter if it's even cheap paper. I just am like, it's like a kid. I get bored easy, and that's okay. That's just how it is. Over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be testing it out to the brink, and then I'll be able to tell you guys about it if I recommend it or not. So let's open these items. I can't wait to get my hands on those babies. All right, let's open this one first. This is my back ordered thing, I think. So I have this Derwent drawing pencil in the Crag Green. I wonder if that's in here too. I hope I didn't get 2 of these. I really have enjoyed it. It's got just a nice smoothness about it, so I thought I would get this small tin. I don't usually get like sets like this, but I really liked the colors that came in the set. One of the things that is nice about a set sometimes is if it has a good range of like yellow, red, blue, green, and a dark, then sometimes it's nice to take just a set like this out, because then you're limited with the colors, and that makes you use colors that maybe you wouldn't normally have gotten. So there's that. I really like the colors in this. I cannot wait to sample them out. I wish it did not have a white because I rarely ever use white, but it's a really, really pretty set. I love these yellows. They're kind of a bigger body to them, which I like. I feel like I can get in there and make bigger marks. It also kind of just has a nice palette to me of like go out in nature and sketch. So I'll test these out for you in a little bit, probably on one of the new papers. Here are my color swatches. I'm super happy with this range of colors. It's just kind of a nice neutral colors. Neutral yellows, neutral blues, reds. Very pretty fall. All this other is just kind of other stuff I was testing. But I wanted to show you guys that because they turned out so pretty. This Crag Green is the green that I already had, that one. So that does not come in the set, but it should because it goes good with the set. Let's deal with this kind of smaller but still large box first. This box is completely beat up. I cannot even really remember. Okay, like this paper does not even have a name. It just says white sulfite drawing paper, the BLICK company. So maybe this is BLICK's paper. This feels very light. There's 100 sheets in this. I got it for very inexpensive. I'll put the prices here. I'm thinking it's smooth, and for 100 sheets, I feel like it was maybe like $7 or something. Should we do some weird testing? It goes from about the end of my finger to past my elbow. And then what is this? Oh, this is some watercolor paper. This feels sturdier. What brand is this? Oh, RICHESON. A friend of mine recommended this to me. 50 sheets in this. Let's go on and dig into this. I need to get my hands on this. Let's see what it feels like. I really didn't want watercolor paper. If I did get watercolor paper, I wanted hot press because I like a smooth surface. But my friend Nancy said that it's smoother than normal watercolor paper. So let's see what we think. Okay, she's right. That side does have a little bit of texture, but this side is smooth. Now what could happen though, the sizing may be just on the rough side. Okay, let's set that aside. I'm gonna put my hands on this paper right here that's really flimsy. Oh, wow, this does not feel like it has any sizing. I can't really resist. Let's just do this right now. Usually I'm a little more like prepared. Let's just do this real quick because this paper, one side feels different than the other, so I may end up liking one side better than the other. And I want to just jump in here to some of these colors. Oh, I can already tell I'm shaking y'all like crazy. Okay, I want to test that side. And I want to test this side. I like these color pencils already. Sometimes paper is thin, that's not watercolor paper, can take more water than what you think. I think this cardboard has a texture because this is getting a little textury. It is interesting to me how sometimes cheap paper can take more than what you think. In fact, I've got like a pan of watercolor here. Let's just do this. Let's not get official. Let's just jump into it right here. This is very much just a dried up watercolor pan, but it's right here at my fingertips. See what I mean? Like that paper's just fine to me. Yeah. This is what I've been looking for. Something thin like this. I can tell that this will take more of a beating than what people would give it credit for. Let's try out the Neo Color 2, because one of the things I've been doing a lot with this is using my fingers. I'll put, yeah, this is bugging me. That's not doing something right. Let's just do it on the table. Okay. And y'all are gonna shake, I'm sorry. So this is what I've been doing a lot, just kind of putting this down. Let me grab my water. And then just literally getting in there with my hands. So let's say, you know, if we were out at the lake or something, or on the beach, and I wanted to do some quick something, I could take some paper like this. Now it's totally, of course, buckling up. I expect that, but it's taking, that paint looks really good. I can tell already I can tell quickly that it's going to take some beating. All right, my battery died, so I took that as an opportunity to go grab some ink. Let's try the Higgins ink. I know for a fact that this is going to bleed through. No ifs, ands, or buts, it's going to bleed through, but let's just see how bad. I can't tell y'all how excited I am about this paper. It's just taking stuff nicely, and it's cheap, and yes, it's gonna buckle. That's just not a problem. Then let's use this acrylic ink. Let's check that Higgins ink while I'm thinking about it. It did not bleed through. Guys, what? I'm dying. What? How is that? That Higgins ink bleeds through everything. Wow, okay. Man, I may have hit the jackpot with this paper. Wow. Okay. Let's try this. What I'm doing right here on this page, just like smushing stuff around. This is what you should be doing like when you get a new sketchbook, just taking the first page and doing this kind of thing, because then you go on and get the sketchbook, you know, going with a mess. Hot diggity loving this paper. Yep, this is exactly what I was looking for. I'm hoping this comes in bigger sheets because I'm gonna get some big sheets of this, no doubt. Now, you guys know me, and I could do this like for I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening like doing this. But I wanted to test that out. I was not expecting, this paper right here I thought was gonna be the worst. Let's open up the last package since I got carried away with this. Sorry about that. I'm gonna clean up and I'll open the last package. Okay, this is the Canson watercolor paper. I think the one that I just tried, that's the only one that's not watercolor paper. Okay, let's see. This has got a nice weight to it. And one side has a little bit of texture and the other side is smooth. This is gonna be nice, and it's big. I am back to give the cheap paper report. And I have a good report to give you, as I have been trying this paper now for almost 3 months. I always test things out really well for you guys before I recommend them. Let's get to the important matter. Cheap paper. Let's start with the cheapest of the cheapest, which is drawing paper. Guys, I'm like just stunned by it. I am so impressed with this paper. It does get buckly. You're not gonna have thin paper and it not be a little buckly. Here's a stack of it all together. Let's see if you can kind of see that. It's gonna focus on my face. Let me step out of the picture. Let's try that. Okay, I mean, I think you get that picture. It is a little wavy. It's really not that big of a deal. I've sold so many of these paintings too on this paper. You can maybe get an idea from the back also. Wonkety, but if you put some stuff on this, it would lay out flat, like flatten it out for a little bit. I mean, I'm sure even just as I've shipped this and the way I package it, it would probably show up quite flat. But there is something really textural, something like it's been out in nature, it's been worked with. You know how like kids paintings have this quality about them, like they got in there and just had fun? That's how I feel like this paper does. There's just a quality about it that I really love. It also takes a beating. I took these on our camping trip. I've been taking them over, you know, to our pond and painting. On our camping trip, it was so nice. I mean, I was shoving these in my bag. I was throwing them around the camper and they just, I can't believe how well they held up. I mean, I literally do not have a single corner that's crunched in or anything. I don't know what to say. So that's the drawing paper. Then we had a watercolor and a bigger, I think the next two were watercolor. Let me grab them. I'm just as impressed with these. I mean, again, you have a little bit of warpage. I mean, you're gonna get that unless you have honkin' doody paper, right? Honkin' doody. But I've been throwing everything at these. I have been putting lots of paint, lots of oil pastel. They're holding up so good. This bigger paper, again, it holds up really well. I took this out in the field with me to paint on location at some property. I was throwing a ton of water at this. Can you see any? You can see some wompity womps on the back. But again, I mean, this thing just, it held up. I'm throwing it in the back of the car. It was all over the ground. It was blowing around at times. It's held up great. Here's the deal. So I would recommend any of these papers. The drawing paper is obviously going to be a little thinner, but I'm loving that paper. Like when I'm just needing to, I just want to slap something on. There's something really freeing about having cheap paper. You don't feel like you're going to mess it up. Now there is also something to be said about my nicer watercolor paper. Let me show you this. You guys know, if you've been around for a while, know that I use this paper too. This is the biggest I have of this size, this Canson. It comes in multiple sizes. It has a little bit of texture. It is a cold press. It's called Durable Surface. I love this too. Now this doesn't turn out wompity at all. It's got a nice hefty paperweight to it. It's kind of hefty. Let me go set it down. Okay, so there is something about having nice paper like that that feels a little more, I'm going to create a nice piece, and it kind of ups the ante for you. For me, in a good way also. I feel like both work for me. I don't know. You may have to find what works for you, but there is something about like my nice sketchbooks that feel like when I feel like doing a proper painting, not going to canvas level, but I want to do a nice painting, I pick up those nicer sketchbooks. But I don't know, so I think both can work for you. I do feel like the majority of you guys, because I hear from you, probably would feel freed up with some cheap paper. All these papers are going to be linked below, and I recommend all of them. Oh, I forgot to mention this. One of the things I've been doing with this bigger paper is lopping it in half. So that's another option. Maybe you can cost compare to see if you get a big batch of this paper and cut it down. That could be, because this is a reasonable size for cutting down. You can cut this down in any size. So you can think about that too. It's just a little bit of a process, but heck, go with the drawing paper. I mean, then you could even cut this down if you want. I don't know what to tell you. I've thrown paint, watercolor, gouache, oil pastels, wax pastels, Neocolor water solubles, all of it. And it's held up great. I'm thrilled with it. And all 3 of these I'll be repurchasing. I'm trying to think of any other questions you guys may ask me. What would you be asking me? Ah, I know what you would be asking me. Am I gessoing these? Heck no. This kind of paper, I mean, I don't gesso my sketchbook pages either. You guys ask me that a lot. No. Sometimes that Canson paper, I have gessoed the back. Sometimes I gesso the front. It does accept the paint a little better if it's gessoed, but if I'm painting on paper, it's usually I'm just in a like, I need to paint. Like, I don't have time to prep stuff. You know what I mean? Every now and then I will. If I've got like some leftover gesso, I'll slap it on some of the pages. And with the Canson paper, what that does when I gesso front and back, man, it makes it like this luxurious vinyl wallpaper. And it does make it feel amazing. But the reality is that is going to be going behind glass. Nobody's going to feel it except for the first time somebody unpacks it and then the framer. You know what I mean? So no, that's the question. I got off on a tangent and then I forgot my question. No, I did not gesso it. I mean, I've even painted on paper with oil. I would gesso that first, back when I painted on paper with oil. In fact, I've got one up that I painted in oil that's on paper, and I did not even varnish it, and I did not frame it under glass. I'm sure you guys want to see, so I'll take you over there. Okay, let's go see it together, and it's holding up just fine. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for like life, for like longevity, but who knows, this painting could stay for a long time up here like this. There is that painting. Yeah, I found that like in a stack of paintings that were like, to me at that time, these aren't very good. But because one of my art teachers early on said never throw anything away, I've benefited from that so many times, because in my this isn't good, I go back through it and I'm like, this is good. In fact, I'm gonna frame it. That would look really good in my studio. I just thought of another question. All the paper seems to have a little sizing in it. So that means that it's not like painting on paper towels. If you think about it, if you tried to paint on paper towels, it would just sink in. It's got a little resist to it, which is really nice. It means that's probably one of the reasons you don't have to gesso it. Were y'all gonna ask me that? I don't know, but for some reason that just came to my mind. I mean, it's not slickety. So if you've used Moleskine, like my Moleskine sketchbooks and even my art creations and my, what's the other one I have? It has a little slickety to the page. It has some sizing. This isn't that slickety. This is more like cotton paper, but it's not crazy absorbent. All right, can this little brain think of any other questions you may guys have? Well, I can't think of anything else you're gonna ask me, so let's wrap this up. I hope this was helpful. I know a ton of you guys have been asking me about these papers since I mentioned it forever ago, I think on Instagram. You guys are like, have I missed the video, the cheap paper video? So that's what I'm naming this video, the cheap paper, because it is very affordable and I'm super happy with it. All right, I think we'll call it a wrap for this video. I hope this was helpful. You guys let me know if you're interested in this paper, if you end up buying some, or what you think. And that's it for this week. I'll see you guys back here next week. There's my wrap up.